something out of this world. This is my story. My name is Pedro Velázquez, and what happened to me is something out of this world. Everything started when some tourists and I took a flight to Cancun, but for no reason, we arrived in a small town called Guanajuato. It was 8th of November of 1917 in the town. Our phones and stuff for no reason disappeared. Everyone was so confused and fearful. We all decided to get off the plane and to check out the town. Everything was so different as if it was the past. The buildings were cream color with their wooden doors. There was no road. It was poor terrain. There were no cars and apparently there was a real road. And finally, dresses were being used by women and men had dress-up suits. We kept walking until we reached the center of town. Everyone looked at us strangely, as if it were aliens. Suddenly, a man from afar had been beckoning us to go with him. We had no choice but to go with him, since we attract a lot of attention and almost the entire town stared at us. A gray jacket, blue jeans, and shoes were worn by him. When we got closer to him, he began to tell us to follow him, not to lose our step as he started to run. He took us running through the streets until we reached a church, because he had been given the keys. When we all walked into the church and he closed the door and questions had been asked by him about how we go to the town and what was our goal being in town.
I remember that some people answered him in a very scary way, that they did not know how they got to that place, that they had no idea where they were. This mysterious person began to laugh sarcastically, and then with an angry face he said, "You are trying to make fun of me? I will have to take you to the boss to tell the truth." I felt very scared when I found out that there was a person more powerful and terrifying than that mysterious man who locked us in the church. At that moment, I knew I had to seek help, but looking around, I could not find something with which I could ask someone I knew for help. There were no cell phones, radios, television, computer. Everything was very strange. After thinking for a long time and not finding something that would help me to ask for help, another person came to the church. Apparently, it was a slave of the mystery man. The mystery man gave the slave a weapon and told him to watch us while he went to tell the boss. While they talked and without thinking about it, I escaped from the church without being noticed. Walking through the streets, everyone saw me in a strange way, but that was the least. The main thing was that the mystery man did not find me. After walking for a long time, observing the city to find out where I was, I came across an adult man. He did not observe me in a strange way, so I decided to ask him where we were. He told me that we were in a small town called Guanajuato, but that was very strange because we were trapped in time, but at the same way in a city that was not inhabited by humans, and the people in the real world did not know that this small town exists. I asked him how I could communicate with someone I knew. He told me that it was almost impossible, that humans and this strange town could not have communication, that there was only one way to escape from that strange town, but that he had never been able to escape.
At this time, I did not know what to do, and it was then My head had been hit by a shovel. I fell, but suddenly I only remembered that a woman put me on the top of her shoulder and very quietly began to run to the opposite direction. While she kept running, I understood that I was in trouble. When finally I woke up, she asked me, "Did they invite you to Guanajuato? What food did you eat yesterday? Where was your phone when I rescued you?" I could only answer that someone stole everything from me. "I just have a few Ks," I said. "Lisa wrote you a letter. They sold your stuff," she said. It was when I started to get scared because I did not remember who Lisa was or why I was there. Her, whose name was actually Stella, began to explain to me that she arrived in Guanajuato by accident 10 years ago, and that since then she had not been able to leave. Even her family got tired of looking for her. They thought that she fled on purpose. And at that moment, I remembered that she was wanted for years all over the country. In the news, in the newspaper, even on television shows. She was a famous novelist. She was writing a novel, I thought. Estella was already noticed in the town, but she told me never to try to approach the church because there were the lost souls. The game had been won by them, she whispered. "Which game? Who are they?" I asked. Stella was helping me to bandage my head when some men knocked loudly on the door of her apartment. Stella grabbed some important things and we jumped out of her back window. We didn't have time to talk. "I have done what I have to do. Sorry if I cannot answer you now. It is a complicated moment," finally she said. "I know that I had to fight if I wanted to return home."
I tried to escape, but they knew the town better than me. They caught me in a dead end and took me to the church again. We arrived, and there was a secret door leading to a dungeon when they caged me. The hours passed, and I thought it was the end. I was afraid. I should be in Cancun, relaxing in the beach. Then, I believed I heard a voice, and heard the steps approaching. They were Stella's. She helped me to escape, but we realized that the people that caught me were coming. We entered to a room, a strange room, where there was a statue that looked like Aztec, and there was a shine that came from it. Accidentally, Stella hit the statue, and all the town started to shake, like an earthquake. The people that were chasing us couldn't find us, and we escaped. After escaping, the mayor of the town summoned everyone to the town hall to put a curfew and find us. By then, Stella and I were the most wanted people. During the day, all the people were looking for us, and at night, they disappeared. We were making a plan. We figured out how to get out of the town. We needed to destroy.
I thought we were going to go to Stella's house, but she said people may be looking for us there, and she had a point. We arrived at an abandoned house. I started to get nervous because we could hear people running in the street. Fortunately, people did not dare to enter the house. It was not a good looking house. To be honest, it looks worse than a haunted house. But I guess that was great for us. We already knew we were going to destroy this statue, but we didn't know how. We started to give ideas, but we found a fault in each of them. Then Stella had an idea. We didn't know if it was going to work, but we had to try. We started to plan it and to gather everything we needed. We decided it was better to go out late at night to the church to destroy the statue, even if we would be the only people in the streets. We thought it was better to hide in the dark than in full daylight. The next night was the big night, so we left the house at 11 and we started to hide in dark places until we got to the church. Trying to not make any sound, we got to the room where the statue was. We were going to start with our plan when Estella tripped and pushed the statue. The statue moved and fell from its original place. A big earthquake started and we agreed to leave the place.
We kept running trying to find a way out as quickly as possible, since all the ceilings were increasingly cracked and nothing to be destroyed, until we managed to escape. But what we did not know is that the statue continued to chase us. When we turned around thinking that, there was no one there anymore. We saw the statue very angry, so we decided to fight. It was a long fight, until we managed to knock it down. We were very happy and decided to leave that place. When we escaped, we really wanted to return to Cancun, and so it was. We bought tickets to return to the beach and enjoy our vacations. We were in Cancun for a week. It was the most fatherly week of my life. And at the end of the week anymore, went to home, remembering a very ugly but at the same time fun experience.